Think we're live. We are live.
All
This
right.
is Sue Greenwald with Awakened Stories, and I'm here today with a very special guest. I'm here with an Epstein survivor, Cassiopeia, and her daughter-in-law, Brittany. How are you guys today? How are you doing?
I'm good. I would like to
Okay.
reintroduce myself though, because I've survived a lot of things in my life. So has Brittany and so have many.
Yep.
And I've never called myself an Epstein survivor. I
Okay.
survived lots of islands.
Okay.
Lots.
Islands. So that means there's a really broad story here. And as we were talking on the phone the other day, the Epstein files have recently come out. Everyone's a buzz about it, but that is only one small pinpoint of the larger story. This is not just a thing that happened on one island. This is a worldwide network of trafficking, torture, cannibalism. You name it, they're doing it throughout the world. So this is just one small story in a lot of bigger stories. And I'm assuming that you're going to fit in there somehow. All right. So,
I think everybody does. And Brittany and I've been trying to say it for days. If you're still breathing and standing on a piece of land, you're on an island and you're surviving the islands
yeah,
because every country there is surrounded by water. And this is taking place everywhere.
it is taking
And
place
it's a lot
everywhere.
bigger than those files. If they've released a bunch of files for people to look at, then they've given them something to look at that they wanted them to look at.
And I
Okay.
do want to clarify just so that there isn't any more misconception or
Oh yeah.
misperception. Because people have been asking me a lot as well if I am an Epstein survivor, and I don't even know where that came from because I never spoke on that myself.
Right. Right.
No, the answer is no. I personally did not survive trafficking in
Okay.
form of any islands.
Okay. And
So
you're
I just
here
want to
just
clarify that as well. Yes, I do have my own personal trafficking story and history, but not through islands.
okay. You're here really for support at this time and moral support and to fill in the story when we have a
Yep.
gap, right?
And also, me and Cassiopeia have our own nonprofit called Beyond Duality Inc. And so we run that and do that together as well.
Okay.
We've done everything together for the past 1500. I think we're at 1508,
Yes, that's
1508
close.
days or something.
Okay.
So we've done everything together. She rescued me, saved my life too many times to count. Uh, so she's, yeah, Brittany is so much more than moral
Okay.
support.
What
Yeah, she's
and what was your nonprofit name again?
Beyond Duality Inc.
Beyond Duality Inc. Okay. Good to know. So that is helping those that have been trafficked. Is that the
Yes.
idea?
yes,
Yep.
yes, that's we were baited forward. Correct. 4 years ago, a little more, give or take, roughly 4 years. We
Yeah.
I have not done the math. Okay, it was
Well, like 5 years now.
got right. We're at over four.
Yeah, so it's like five, maybe closer to 6 years now, actually.
Yep. That we were baited forward. Um, I had never told my story or any history on myself about having been trafficked ever.
Not publicly.
Nope. I never had that intention. And we were tricked forward by journalists and family members from my long time ago past, calling all of a sudden out of the blue, asking, saying a baby was in danger. And the only way that they were going to get help, of course, is if I stepped forward and said what had happened to me because we shared the same person. Same person that was taking this baby is a person that sold me. So they asked me to step forward and tell the world what had been done to me, and that was somehow going to help save their baby. We jumped forward. Absolutely. I didn't even give it a second thought. So we've been forward ever since. The moment we stepped forward like that, we had a target put on us immediately.
Right.
It's
Right.
been crazy ever since. It was one thing after another.
And what are some of the things that what kind of threats, like what's happened when you see you have a target on your back from telling your
Lord, the
story?
list.
See, and some of them get hard to show because of how covert it's done. So explaining it is always the harder part.
That's why I stick with the main ones that we've had to report to the police. We had our tires shot
Mhm.
out driving home from helping somebody that we thought we were helping.
Yeah. I was driving 70 down the interstate when it happened. So then we had to, pull over and deal with that. And an officer did come help us. Not really. He mostly just confirmed the type of bullet hole that was in our tire, did not assist us in changing it. And then another gentleman in the parking lot actually assisted us in getting out of there.
We were on a TikTok live the whole time.
Yeah.
When your tires were shot out.
Yeah, while we were changing the tire and everything, we were on a TikTok live.
And
We
how
didn't
many
know what
ti-
else to do for safety. We just wanted people to be able to see us so then we couldn't disappear.
Yeah.
Because those were all the threats. We had people come show up at our door. We had CIA, a lady named Nita, showed up at our door.
Well, she also showed up when we had my children at a park.
Yeah.
Like we were in a public place at a park, my children were playing, and this person showed up and threatened us in the parking lot.
That if we didn't recant my story that I came forward with, that I had met and been given to the Pope. I was sold to the Pope. I never said sold because there was not an exchange of money. Okay. I was given to the Pope, and then I was sold back to someone that night. So that's just how it went. But I was threatened and we were cornered at the park, like she was saying. And we had one of mine with us too. We had three
Yeah.
kids with us. I'm told if I didn't take the story back, recant, and say it was a clone, the threats that we'd be disappeared, and
to say
it went up from there.
to say the Pope was a clone?
Yeah, that the one I had been sold to was a clone.
And the harassment continued over on, I think it was still Twitter at the time, it's X now.
Oh Lord.
But she had gone over there and started a bunch of stuff online over there. So I mean, if people really wanted to go look and search and find that, they sure can.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure, but
It's
Wow.
just been like that. We had a hitman in a podcast openly tell us he was a contracted person while looking us in the
we've
face.
had multiple hitman type situations.
Yeah.
We had our local law enforcement show up at our house just last September,
Yeah.
saying that there was a crime. They were getting a bunch of calls that she was dead from a crime family hit.
Yep.
So they showed up to see if she was still alive and to check on how we were doing because of a bunch of phone calls that had come in to their department.
That's an odd thing. Did you trust the policeman that came to your house?
We don't trust anybody.
No, they detained
Good
me.
answer.
Yeah.
They detained me and put me in the car.
They did. They threw your ass in the car.
We have a gate. We have a stand your ground law in Alabama. And we have a gated property. Like we have a gate at the front of our property. And they busted through the gate. They told me that I confronted the police and I was like, I'm sorry, can you tell me how you got through my gate? Because it was locked. And they told me it was dummy locked. I cannot confirm or deny that. I have no idea.
We don't know.
But they told me it was dummy locked. That's how they were able to get in. And I was like, okay, well, I will ensure that that does not happen next time. And I was totally calm talking to them. And I just went to walk away and let her know why they were there because she was coming out. And they just came up behind me and detained me so quick. Like I was off the ground and in the car in less than 10 seconds. It was
Whoa.
quick. It was quick.
It was nuts.
They were not playing around when they came to check on that situation at all.
No.
Did they think you were a suspect, or like what was their rationale for throwing you in the back of the car?
But they never told me. Did they tell you?
Yeah, they said they wanted to ensure her safety. As soon as she identified herself, they wanted to put her in the car and make sure she was safe.
All they told me is, we are not arresting you. We're not
But
arresting you.
they
Like, that's
did-
all they told me.
Then they
And they
said,
detained me.
then they said she got too mouthy.
I was too protective, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Like-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
That was it. But they wanted to know why they're getting a bunch of phone calls that I was dead from a crime family hit.
That's interesting and odd.
My husband was standing there, our friend Kimberly, it was
Yeah.
standing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Well, I'm just going to say this. You're incredibly courageous, both of you, for coming forward and telling your story. Even though you might have been pushed forward, maybe it wasn't your original intent, you're paving the way for other people to come forward and tell their stories as well. And the more that come forward, the more people will see and believe it. It's about getting it
Absolutely.
out there. The story has to
Absolutely.
come out, right?
We thank you for helping us with it.
Well, I'll do my part, you know what I mean? But you know, you've been through a lot of trauma, in both of you, it sounds like. And I guess we'd like to hear your story if possible. You had told me on the phone that you were born underground. Is that correct?
As far as I'm aware.
Okay. Like when you said that, like I can't even imagine what that means. Can you
So
explain
if
what?
you think about IVF and being born in a lab, like how they make, I don't know if you've heard the term designer babies.
Yep.
That is, I guess I'll let you speak for yourself.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. It's not as complicated as people think. They
Okay.
make bloodline babies or whatever, whatever design they choose. That was me.
Okay. All right.
And I stayed underground for the most part for almost 9 years. Was I up here? Yes. Yes, I was. Long enough for pictures and show and to create a little life for the narrative.
Okay.
I sure
So,
was.
did you as a child know that you were underground? Like it was it in a like what we would call like a house. You didn't really have the concept of underground at that point when you were quite young?
Right. You don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's just where you are all the time.
All right.
I thought I went to work with my dad and we were there for a long time. And that's just how it is and how it was. And that's what you did. I
Okay.
didn't really think about it much.
All right.
It just doesn't cross your mind. Those aren't the things you think about.
Okay.
I never even thought about it being underground until what, 5, 10 years ago
Um,
when we started talking about what those places looked like because I saw them from inside. So, I mean, it didn't look like a cave. Yeah,
yeah.
that's not how it was. And these things are, how do you say it? Like when we went to Washington and walked right into that church and went in 5 basements below, nobody stopped us from going in.
It's
And
right there.
and we had our family with us and I wanted to show them. Underground isn't as far away as anybody thinks.
Okay. Okay.
You can walk right in from under a building,
Mhm.
under a church. These you drive in.
Okay. So we could say it would be like in the very bottom basement level of a large building, for example. That's what we could compare it to.
Um, I've also like I have a different underground experience in like the music world.
Yeah.
Like the how do I describe it?
The rave scene.
Yeah, well, we could use the rave scene for one. Screamo is another. Like all the music that isn't mainstream music, they have underground parties. Like raves actually used to be held illegally in abandoned buildings or warehouses and things like that before it was mainstream and on the radio. So I have a history and background with that type of underground scene, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So underground just truly it means it's more hidden, not
Okay.
in like everyone's sight, honestly, because it just depends on in which aspect everyone's talking about underground scene or the underground world or like the dark web could be something that's underground.
It is.
There's Tower of Babel, the many ways of explaining something.
All
Right,
those
right,
undergrounds are connected too.
Right.
Like
right.
the underground scene,
It's a whole network.
the underground scene Brittany was in, and that underground hidden world leads to the underground places where I was.
Because it's
Okay.
like you could look at it like layers of like recruitment stages in a
Okay.
way. I did not uh, brought in as deep in my trafficking experience as others have. If that is comprehensible.
Okay.
It's like stuff we've never really explained.
Yeah, we've never really had the chance. They usually come at us too much.
Well, we're curious, but we want to help. We need to understand, but we also want to support you, okay? And it's hard because I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand, which is why we're asking the questions, right? So when you grew up, you didn't have what we call a mom or a dad in the traditional sense. Like,
I
did you
did.
have you did?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Tell us
lived
what,
in two totally different worlds the whole time.
okay. All right.
You- It's hard for me to try to describe all of it without getting sidetracked, so bear with me.
Okay.
And I've never been able to do a really great job in a perfect timeline order.
It's fine.
Okay. I don't have any memories before age 4.
Mhm.
Uh, Not that I'm aware of anyway. So when I say, my whole life up until that age, I don't have memories before the age of 4. Uh, I can't tell you what took place between birth and there at all. I was taken underground somewhere, and I don't remember the first time I was taken. I just remember being there. They're some of my first memories. When I was there, I was kept in a box the majority of the time, unless I was taken out to be used for something.
When you say a box, are you talking cardboard, wood,
No,
cage?
no, Brittany got to stand in front of one recently that they use for kids like this. No, it's roughly 36 inches. It's not very big. You don't have room to move. It's wooden, kind of like a crate, but better built.
Wow. Okay. So you lived in a box.
The majority of the time, I was taken out to be used for different things all the time and put back in.
Okay.
So, are there pictures of me when I'm 4 years old or 5 years old? I don't know how old I am. There are a handful of pictures of me as a kid. Up here, yes. Yep, I was brought up to continue a narrative. I have one kindergarten photo, I think. Yet, when I got my school records, I attended that kindergarten for 4 days.
Just long enough to
So,
get your photo taken.
yep,
Okay. All right.
show up on the roster. In my box they kept me in, they had a mirror on one side, and they spent all those years telling me in every way there could be that the reflection in that mirror was my brother, a child separate from me. They used that child, which clearly wasn't okay, but to me it was. And it's still very hard to talk about
Mhm.
because it's still separate from me. I understand what's real, but that's a head trip. They used that kid as what got me to do what they wanted. You want to see him again? You want to go back in the box and see him again? You'll get this done.
Okay.
And that's all I wanted. So I lived for all of my life thinking I had a brother, and I didn't.
Whoa. So were there other kids where you were?
Yes,
But you really didn't have interaction, it sounds like.
we did. We didn't get to play together, but we saw each other.
Okay. So you were controlled, so they didn't want you guys talking and plotting how to get away or whatever. Right.
That was never even a thing.
Right. Right.
No,
So did you think it was odd living in a box? Like,
no.
you didn't know any better? All right.
Oh, I I preferred sleeping with my sisters or in the bed with my mom. When I'd be out, I'd scream to sleep with them instead, but it just wasn't an option.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. So you were let out of the box occasionally to do tasks.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the time to do whatever they wanted.
Right.
I
Right.
was used in a lot of rituals. I
Okay.
didn't know they were rituals then either.
Okay.
That doesn't register through your head, and they don't pull you aside and put you through a briefing or something and tell you, hey, this is what we're doing with you. It's
Yeah.
not how it was. I
Yeah.
wasn't treated like a human uh, or privileged to their plan.
Right. So basically they get you out and say, do this or go
Oh,
here or whatever. You were forced to do whatever they did. And of course you were a child. You didn't really know any better, you know.
you know, I watched kids die. You don't question anything, you don't ask, and they don't have to tell you not to talk because you see people talk and
Then you see the results of what happens when they spoke.
Right.
you don't have a bunch of kids running around running their mouths.
Right. They weren't messing around.
God, no,
You were expendable.
100%. And they let you know it every day,
Okay. Okay.
every day. Fail once, they'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
My number is long. I was given a number, 7 digits long. They
Like
let
this.
me know that that's how many before me failed.
What did they want you to do specifically? Just be compliant, or was there something specific for just you?
Had me do too much. That's a big question.
Yeah.
They used me for a lot of things. They would send me with men into places, meetings or buildings to just be there and come back and tell them everything they said
Ah,
verbatim. They would use me to send me in with men and have conversations with them. Very specific ones. They would tell me what I was supposed to talk about or say. And that I just had to do what they said. Like why they would send me, I don't know. I was not privileged to any of that. Just those are the things. That's just a tiny, tiny portion of the too much that they used me to do. They
what kind
did
of
a
like,
lot.
what kind of meetings were these like that you were in? Like who would send a child in to spy? Like what kind of meetings were these?
I don't know. Um,
Okay.
businessy,
Okay. Yeah.
sometimes in office looking places. I can only tell you by like visual memory.
Yeah.
Sometimes in looks like a ballroom, like a big gathering of all sorts of people dressed all fancy,
Okay.
mainly all adults. Fancy dinners. Um, sometimes meetings just between 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
They'd be in like a more private looking office.
Okay. So you had told me on the phone that you were, a subject or a witness to rituals for about 16 years. All right. So is that say starting at age 4 going forward, or how does that look?
Yeah, because as far as my memory,
Right.
I was in them.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So,
Rituals look terrible. They're all terrible. They have main ones they do at certain times every year, every month, stupid holidays. Then there's smaller ones in between, and they're exactly the same every time they do them. Sometimes there's different people there, but they re-go through the stupid same. If it was 18 hours long last year and you had to be a cowboy, well, it's going to be 18 hours this year and it's going to be somehow cowboy themed.
okay. All
sort
right.
of. Yeah.
So these rituals, I don't know how far you want to go in describing them, but are you able to talk about what you saw there?
If you ask me specific things, yes, I stay out of the details of rituals because of what
Okay.
they are.
Yeah.
Rituals were designed a certain way, and I lived it. I lived them. They're designed that when you're in it, absolutely everything you look at around you visually is part of the ritual. And the details. So everything you're looking at, which would be like the scenery, however it was decorated, the location you're at, the people that are there, those are details. And they're all designed on purpose to be incredibly sticky. They every damn part of it is like a rabbit hole or like a it's another thing you could just be stuck on and talk about for hours and days. So I try
Okay.
to stay out of the details as if I can. I try to
Okay.
be as broad as I can just for that reason. I don't mind talking about details if it was for a genuine reason. If it's for exposure or awareness to help someone. Um yes. For gore, no.
Okay.
Every one of them are gory. Absolutely all of them. And they all look different.
Okay.
They're all different. They all have an audience, and there's main components to each one that they all share that are similar. There's always a main person or persons. There would never be more than one or two. Then there is like a small number, it varies, small number around them. I don't know. I've never really counted somewhere between like maybe 5 to 15. Yeah. Around them that are those are main players in this ritual. And if if they are if they wanted to convince me in a ritual that I'm wearing, we're gonna damn sew a blue dress, everything around me is gonna look like a seamstress theme. And these main players role play and act out. They walk, talk, eat, sleep, and breathe, whatever it is they're trying to convince you of in the middle. Those are main components of a ritual. And then there's an audience. So it's sort of like acting out, they're acting out a play, but like with the weirdest, most elaborate effects I've ever seen, using everything and people and shit that doesn't make sense. And there's always an audience. And
Okay.
it's always in a closed area. Always. It doesn't have to be a small area, but it's always contained.
Okay. Okay. You had said earlier in this video that you were sold to the Pope, a
Yep.
Pope. Was there more than one Pope that happened to? I know that there was a transition. Okay.
No, it
So how old were you? About how long ago was that?
was 9,
Okay. So you spent a night? Was it just one day? Like how long with the Pope?
more than 20 hours.
Okay. And then you were sold to someone else.
Yep. That
Okay.
night. When I
And
was taken from the airport in San Antonio, where I met the Pope, which Brittany and I came public with years ago. There's old news reels, and we had our video, we brought it forward.
mm-hmm.
We didn't want to, we were trying to help a child. I came out the gate with proof. I didn't mess around when that baby was on the line. When I met the Pope there, I was in San Antonio. I was taken to Ruby Falls from there into a heinous ritual and then sold back to John Walsh that night.
Mm. Okay. And then what happened from there? Do you know?
I kept getting sold over and over again for years until I was 16.
Okay. So
That was
basically
only one day.
sold to various people for, we're going to just say sexual purposes.
Mainly those ritual purposes, yes.
Rituals. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you were sold over and over again till you were 16. And then what happened at age 16?
I was pregnant and I ran away and I thought I was free. I thought I was out. I didn't see them anymore. They were out of sight, out of mind. I didn't go back to those places and I didn't associate with those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I was out. And I had my son and I got married when I was 18 and I thought I built a life
Okay.
and I thought I was completely free from all of that. And I never looked back until we were baited forward. Strange things happened all the time. Those people would come back into my life all throughout the years from time to time. It always happened. But nobody else in my life paid any attention.
Okay.
So it was let go. I was a surrogate for questionable people twice in my early 20s, high profile individuals. And there was some things that
It
happened
was
there.
because of her surrogacy stories and who the high profile couple was that she was a surrogate for that caught my attention and why I started having questions. And that's how I was able to show her that she had still been involved in that, hey, what you went through was trafficking. Because
Okay.
neither of us knew that we had been trafficked when we were younger.
Oh.
I took a course. I had worked for a group home with young women, and we took a course on spotting signs of trafficking. So that's where I had first learned about it, like the actual terminology and legal definitions of it. Like I knew what abuse and harm and all that
Right.
was. I
Which
just
is not
didn't
what we
know the
called it.
legal definitions. So that's where I learned the term trafficking and what that looked like. And so then when she would tell me more about it or I would ask questions, that's how we were able to see it as trafficking because we didn't know the terminology.
But it sounds like you were tricked
Oh yeah.
multiple times.
Yep. I went through mind control as a kid.
Okay.
I didn't know that's what it was called then either.
Right.
Uh that's just it was just my life.
Right.
But I went through a lot of mind control as a kid. I didn't question anything. So talking to Brittany, I would just tell her things, hey, I was a surrogate for this couple and just telling her a story about something and she would question it. She's like, I'm sorry, what? You know? We were cleaning out my cedar chest and one day and I showed her all the invites from the White House I had collected over the years. And I had a whole box. So I just thought it was cool and I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was weird, cool. And Brittany's was able to help me see, no, girl, these things aren't, this isn't normal. And it isn't that I thought they were normal. It's just that when they stood out to me over the years, as these people are coming back, man, no one would listen. My husband and family and everybody'd say, it's no big, it's just coincidence. It's just no big deal. To me, it wasn't.
They didn't know the signs or what they were looking at
No.
either. I wouldn't have known if I didn't take the course.
And I called my
Interesting.
life horrible. I was abused horrible as a child. I don't want to talk about it. Like that's all I ever said. I didn't call it trafficking. I didn't know what the hell that was.
Right. Right. So when you were mind controlled, like what kind of things did they do to you?
Oof.
Well, she told you about the mirror in the box, and that is heavily used in the mind control because it creates fractures in the brain, and that causes dissociations
Mm-hmm.
and dissociative identity disorder when
Yeah.
more and more fractures are created through all the trauma.
The mind control in the mirror is kind of the most obvious one as well. It created a kid that doesn't exist, but in my mind It did. So for all those years, all they had to do was threaten me with a kid that didn't exist. And man, I jumped, do whatever in the world they wanted me to do.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's like
Mind
when,
control was done to me in a lot of ways. They put me in a room once and played the same music on repeat for days. Round the clock, it never stopped. You couldn't hear anything else. It was so loud. And after a while, it makes you go blank. You can't hear anything anymore. You hear silence. I don't know, maybe your brain's way of, it couldn't
shutting it
take
off.
any more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they'd start playing um tones, but they were numbers in different tones and putting smell in the room at the same time as the number and tones.
And you got to think if they're keeping a child in a box and only taking them out for certain purposes, that is massive sensory deprivation.
Exactly.
And then you're putting them in all these rooms and all these places with this high sensory non-stop going on. Like,
And
so
that's
that in
mind control.
itself,
That's mind control in itself too. The sensory deprivation is a form of mind control.
Of course.
Uh, I craved physical contact in a way that was just, it still is. It's still one of the worst things I've ever worked on healing. It makes my body have physical pain, and
Right.
and yet all I want in the world is to just touch Brittany or my husband or one of my, just a friend, just put my arm on them or something. But that in my life put me in so many situations that were absolutely wow bad. That's mind control in itself. They can move
Right.
you around like that and did.
Yeah.
Um, they starved me from love or affection and told me every day terrible things. I wasn't worthy of their name. I wasn't worthy of this or that. And it creates a draw to love people. And then they used me for that.
Right. You
Yeah.
you need the attention and you need to please people, so you'll do almost anything for that attention. Right.
Otherwise, you fail and you'll die.
Yeah.
That's
It
why.
What I was thinking about earlier is, when you have these parakeets, they put the mirrors in the cage, and we're told it's because they think there's another bird there, and it
Yeah.
keeps them company. So again, it's a psychological game they're
Yep.
playing with you. Yeah.
Big
So,
time.
so you had that mirror for the first few years of your life. Now, as you grew physically larger, did you ever make it out of the box to live? Like, did you ever have a bedroom or place of your
Yeah.
own? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At my
What?
mom's house. Yeah. I had a bed and bedroom.
Okay.
Sometimes I just had an air mattress. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't have normal circumstances all the time at all, but
Okay.
not a box. Yeah, then I wasn't in there anymore. And I, man, I ran from the memories of that box for so long, never wanted to deal with it. Was it a little over a year ago? Brittany and I were taken to Texas and get thrown right in front of one of those boxes again, intentionally by some people to trigger that trauma so they could gain some information and heighten all my fight or flight.
Right.
So
I
Brittany got to stand there and see the boxes herself.
I would imagine standing back in front of that box would have freaked you out again. The fear must have been intense.
Thank
they
God for DID.
intentionally try and cause flashbacks and a switch in
Right.
alters
Right.
to gain information every time. And they
Right.
do it intentionally.
That's their goal. They wanted to put me in front of that box so it would trigger that altar to come
Right.
forward,
Right.
and then they'd have access to that altar and that information.
Right.
Yeah, and then because that's exactly what they did. Then they wanted to throw us into a live podcast on X, into a live stream, like this was just like back to back to back.
After they knowingly dissociated both of us, I also dissociate.
Yes. And we had just got thrown in front of that box. They put the box in their garage. Okay. So it's right there. I was so not okay. And it calls that altar forward. And so you're in trauma again and reliving it. And then they wanted to throw us onto an X live stream so they could then ask questions to that altar, holding that information about, and they'd ask about these specific people. They wanted to ask about Trump. They wanted to ask about this politician and this governor. That's how they do it. And that's why the mind control is put there for later recall. So they can use whatever sensory, smell, music, sound, visual, a box, lights, shit, phrases of numbers and names repeated over to call a specific altar forward to then get some more information.
Well, that
From
was
those places you asked me about, why would they send a kid in to those weird places? So they could recall it all these years later and find out what in the hell was said in there
right.
and
So-
try to cover up their tracks for who's going to know that information was transferred across.
So they by causing you this distress, they throw you off center. Your
Oh, yeah.
altar pops in. It can answer those questions because it was there
Yes,
way back when. And
because
so
it's emotion state dependent memory.
they wanted information on specific people and situations. Do you
Yeah.
remember what they asked you at this point? And you don't need to give details. I'm just asking the question.
Yes, of course. We have all of it recorded, thank God, because we started recording way before we became beyond duality and this
Yep.
because I have DID. So when I used to lose time, it was a way to help me remember what I was doing and where and help me be responsible for my own self.
And to make sure no one else could change the story or manipulate it or
Right.
falsify her own memories.
Thank you.
Right.
That was always my biggest concern, was I didn't want her to have any false memories. And I know she'll believe what I tell her, but I wanted her to hear and see it
Right.
for herself
Right.
as
Right.
validation for herself.
Yeah. So we had the whole thing recorded, and these people were heavily in with the Flynn pack, General Mike Flynn
Mm-hmm.
and
And Mary
Mary
Flynn?
Flynn. Yeah. And Ben Moore was
Yeah.
Ben Moore was the
Lawyer.
attorney for Trump's team. And there was a Mike, I can't remember his last name.
That one I don't
Yeah.
remember. We
Yes.
didn't interact with him much.
Yep. I could pull up photos on my phone.
Mhm.
But that's where those people were from. And these were the people that took us to Texas, found us on TikTok, came to us. It was just a lady, very unassuming lady. Her husband also very unassuming couple. They're just in support of the cause. And oh, yes, they're everything for the children as well. So they started being supportive,
Right.
just like everybody else was, and we didn't know him from anybody else.
Right.
Then the relationship got stronger. The messaging, she started messaging more and more, and then she waited until we were in some emotional turmoil and crisis to then become closer. Then it was her and her husband that talked us into going to Texas to help them. And when we got there, it's them that put us in front of the box, took us to a gated location, told us it was a Camp David location.
I have that on audio too.
Yeah.
We also had other people confirm that it was a Camp David location.
Yeah.
So like it just made it more suspicious that it came from more than one person.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't say this is a Camp David location.
That was
They
not
did.
our finding.
And then more people kept saying it. And then more people. And it's like, okay, either way, I don't care. We just don't want to be here.
Mhm.
And, we were stuck in front of the box and thrown in the podcast. their whole thing for weeks was, um, these people are pro Trump and they were on that whatever bandwagon. We told them from minute one, we're not political. We don't care. It's never been our thing. We don't give
Right.
a rat's ass. I was hurt by many, and I know there's not sides. They're both controlled, so it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
And they pushed and pushed, but they were pro-Trump people. They kept putting us in these lives to ask more and more questions about those people and those things. Always one-sided to their views, and then they'd get upset with Brittany or myself anytime we'd go against anything they said or not agree. Yeah.
So you have in your lifetime seen lots of, we'll call them famous and influential people doing the rituals
Oh
with
yeah.
children, all sorts of things that are pretty ugly to talk about. So you
Yeah.
said when you were done with the Pope at age 9, you were sold to John Walsh. Okay.
Back to John Walsh.
So so we know John Walsh is famous again, right? His son was kidnapped way back when in the maybe 80s. And he became famous for a show where he would do this show about lost and missing children and all that. And that was his facade. Okay.
Yep.
That was his facade. And many of the people that work for these children's causes really are doing the opposite of what they say. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So now I've seen video recently where he's back in the headlines. Okay.
I have not, but I
Yeah.
believe you.
Recently. Yeah. So people are talking about him again, which I think is good. It's bringing the awareness out.
Good. Maybe they'll notice the same thing that the police department did and then covered up back in 1981. There's no DNA evidence of there's no body. There was never an identification.
Right.
The
Yeah.
dental records, what dental records? There weren't any.
Right.
There's so many holes in that story. Maybe they should take another look at their proof and
Mm,
then look at the presidents that he stood with and the departments of this and departments of that that he shook hands with right after.
right. Right.
And maybe they should take a look at what was he? Hold on. What was he before he was Mr. America should have been most wanted? A giant real estate developer. Who else was? I don't know, but I don't know. Johnny Boy was into real estate with hotels and luxury condos and
A
resorts.
man named Donald, possibly.
That's
Yeah.
what Johnny was into. So like I wonder what
Oh,
Donnie was into too. Wasn't he same damn thing? Who else was a giant real estate developer? Oh, hell, the ones that bought islands. That takes
yeah.
giant real estate developers, doesn't it?
Yep. Bingo. Bingo. And of course, we know Camp David is where the presidents go for vacation and R&R. That's where they go. And that's always been kind of an ambiguous place because I think it's actually multiple locations, right?
Thank you. Yes, it
Yeah.
is, because we were at one in Texas.
Yeah. And we don't know. The people don't know. Like we hear that, oh, the president's taking the week off or blah, blah, blah. And from working so hard, right? And then they go and do all the stuff they're doing.
And how do they show the public? How do they prove to the public that said president was at said golf place? How do they prove it? They show a few minutes of a video clip of a president on a sunny day at a golf resort. Well, hell, you could record one of those and then play that
Yep.
reel for real for real all over if you wanted to,
Yep. Yep.
anytime.
Yep. Yeah.
Nobody else saw him there. You're not allowed to. You can't even fly over airspace. No drones, no photos. What? Almost like no graven images. Just no witnesses. It all
Mm-mm-mm.
sounds mafia, doesn't it?
It sounds very suspicious. So, yeah, John Walsh was a real estate developer.
Big
Back in
time.
the news now. Back in the news there. So, rubbing shoulders with the wrong type, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that you were mind controlled, like you went through these
Well, how
sensory.
else would you cover up the worst crimes against children than to have the national everything and international Clinton Foundation crap for exploited children in your
Yeah.
pocket?
Yeah.
You'd need a person like that. I'm just saying. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah. All these big charities too. It's really money laundering. Like they're doing the opposite of what the people think they're doing.
Has
They're
anyone ever called the Polaris human trafficking hotline or called them and asked for help? We have. They help no one. They have a texting service for helping you if you're in a human trafficking crisis. And if you stay on hold long enough, you might get somebody on the phone, and all they do is redirect you back to your local 211.
for real.
Yet they have billions of dollars a year in funding to end human trafficking, but they don't have any programs for survivors. Weird.
Let's see, the
Weird.
National Center helps victims' families. They don't help survivors at all. There's a large issue with the wording there again.
Yeah.
Victims are all deceased and no longer with us. Survivors are the ones still breathing. So we're not helping the ones that are still here, still speaking, still healing, because we don't want their stories heard.
Right. Right.
Well,
But we
they
want to compensate and we want to pay the families.
to shut
Oh.
up of the ones that
Oh.
are dead,
Yeah. Yeah.
to shut
Right.
up of the ones that are dead so they can put out a false narrative story about the ones that are dead. And well, there's nobody to stand up and say it's false because,
Right.
well, no body, no crime.
Right. Right. Wow. So this is, and it's still unraveling. What we're going through right now in history is still being pulled apart, right? But more and more and more people are going to come forward and tell their stories.
Have you
And
guys noticed how history repeats a lot like a ritual? Rituals can be done on a very large scale. Think about why they are done for that his story.
I have a hypothetical question. I just thought of it. I just thought of it.
okay.
We talked a little bit about mind control and how they tried very hard, and I'm not the only one that they did this to. No, we stand here. I'll use my story all day long because I know we're not the only one, and maybe people will recognize it and they can get some help too. Okay, but I know we're not the only one. We talked earlier about mind control and how they did some of this in all these children to then later use it, right? Okay. And then we also talked about how we were freaking baited forward 4 years ago by a bunch of mafia journalists who I could name. Francesca Amato is one.
La Costa Nostra.
Oh, damn it. Did I say that? I'm mentally ill. I can't help it. Um, yeah, that was Darla Chan. That was another one. There's that one.
That's
Anthony
funny.
Sibeli. There's the third. Um, well, I wonder what crime family they're all from. We could
Oh,
look
I
it up.
already said it.
Yeah. But we talked about that mind control to be used later. And then we talked about we were tricked and baited forward 4 years ago by these journalists and, well, Megan Walsh. So strange that like that ties together. And it almost is like we've been standing here fucking public for 4 years going, guys, I don't care whose father that asshole is or isn't. If y'all could join the land of, well, what is real? They made a lot of us call people auntie and uncle and father that fucking weren't, didn't they? Yeah, they did. It makes no difference for what he did. And his plan to bait me forward so that I would then come forward and say, I saw them kill Adam Walsh, would then solidify his fucking story that Adam Walsh was real
When
because
that's
that
not true.
man would rather look bad for possibly being participating in some things he shouldn't have than look bad for
Making a fake kid that didn't exist.
to create the narrative that they're now using. Well, didn't he use human trafficking essentially and kidnap vulnerable children
Mhm.
as his governmental plot then? Same thing they're using now. Damn, it smells fucking familiar over here. It's like my father called somewhere. I don't know.
It's like I solved a 40-year-old murder and they don't want to recognize that I did that.
They can't. Legally, it wasn't a murder. There was no body.
They claimed it was a kidnapping turned to murder. They found a head in the canal, but whose actual head they found, we're not sure. We'd still like DNA on that.
No. So with the rest of the world.
You know a lot about it.
Just personal observations.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. Okay.
We also are still in contact with the fake Adam Walsh that Megan and John and them have in a nursing home in Florida.
Mhm.
It's had some transgender surgery, a lot of facial reconstruction, and
Goes
goes
by
by
Lily.
Lily.
I didn't realize there was a fake, to be honest.
Yep, that's what we were baited forward with in the first place.
Ah,
Because I was convinced that there was a kid in the mirror in the box.
She still thought she had a twin brother that she was looking for.
okay.
And I helped her find that twin brother. And then we found out the narrative and their lies.
Okay.
So to
What
set
is,
the record straight, I've never claimed to be Adam Walsh. There wasn't one. I claimed to be me. The
okay.
person screwed over and taught and told there was an Adam Walsh, so they could later bring me forward to say I watched him die.
And it took me many years to help her see that for herself. I knew far longer, honestly, if you want to look at it that way. She kept running from it, wouldn't accept it for herself. But I pieced it together from all her alters coming forward, telling me different things. And I kept track of everything they told me. And I was able to ask her questions slowly so that it wouldn't cause her more trauma.
Right, right,
I had to let her come to it on her own, remember it all on her own.
Yet she didn't have any choice. We were baited forward by these people who started immediately sending us police files
It
and
was so
photos of
confusing
me.
for me. I didn't know anything about the Adam Walsh story or John Walsh, and none of it at all when we started. So none of it made sense to me for a while. Well, years. Okay. Like
right, right,
I didn't know why Megan Walsh called us in the beginning. I didn't know why there was journalists. I didn't understand. Like she never said the name Adam Walsh. She always
right.
said she had a twin brother. She always had a twin. That's always the story that she told me. She had a twin. But
Gone.
then we had more and more details come forward. And then Megan came forward. And then all that tied together. And it was a mind trip for myself.
I can
Still is.
imagine. Yeah, yeah.
Still is.
And also, to keep the trauma at a minimum, to kind of broach the topic
Mhm.
carefully, right?
Very sensitively,
Yeah,
carefully,
yeah,
and stop talking about it when it became too much. Move
right,
on. Like it's okay. We'll
right.
come back to it a year
Yep.
from now. Like that's really how it was. It was I got a little piece of information. She brought up the box, and then I just kept that. And she brought it up again like a year later. So then I would ask questions about, okay, well, you mentioned this before, so like, can we go a little farther into that story or that memory? And so it took years because you
You,
can't, uh, I can't anyway. I don't know how to force an alter to come forward. I mean, I know they have codes and tricks and all that, but I didn't. So it was just kind of like a waiting game
right,
of when they were comfortable and ready to say something.
right. And so you said you opened up a box and you had invitations with an S, multiple invitations to the White House. I mean, that's not typical. So when you went to the White House, what did you do?
I didn't go.
You didn't
I
go?
kept getting invitations all those years and I never went.
Oh, okay, okay.
And since we incorporated and became Beyond Duality, we were only incorporated for about a week.
Yeah, 8 days.
8 days. When we got invited to a Senate meeting, we got invited to go physically to the White House again, declined, and did a live Zoom from our living room
Via Zoom.
with the Senate.
For
Uh,
real.
that's what we said.
Yeah.
It's like, Brittany, is this real? Okay.
So you Zoomed with the Senate, and what kind of questions did they, or what did they want to talk about, I guess is the way to ask it.
Uh,
Who we
That's
were,
hard to
and
remember.
yeah, they asked who we were and how they could help.
They said something about we were in Minnesota at the time, and so it was Amy Klobuchar, I believe, was gonna somehow back us or put us like an endorsement or something on our website. They never did follow through with anything they said they were gonna do. So nothing came of that meeting.
It sounds like they were trying to find out what you knew.
I introduced myself kind of out the gates with, I'm glad to be here under different circumstances. I was sold to so many of you in the past.
Oof. Yeah.
And no one denied it, and no one said anything other than I'm sorry.
And they all know.
They didn't say anything.
They had their opportunity.
And that's why you're getting the threats now. They don't want their name out there any further. Right.
Right
Ugly.
now, we're getting the threats from my
Mhm.
2 half siblings
Yeah.
and these people online starting the worst, repeat scripted over and over and over, same crap that they say to shut down any and every survivor. And we refuse to give them our energy. We're not doing it.
They have made videos publicly putting out our address, a description of our property and the layout.
Dude,
They have tried to involve my children. I'm sure they've tried to involve your children. They've involved her children so many times in the past already.
we
Now, oh, hold on. My favorite right now is the messages I just recently got before we came on here of them trying to convince me that I am in a terrible situation. I don't know what kind of lies and everything I have fallen for, and I'm being so manipulated by her apparently. And my response was, if you feel like it's been 4 years since I've spoken to you, first of all, like you've seen me, we've known each other. I haven't even thought about you. But if you seriously think that I am in a dire situation and you are concerned for my safety, please go ahead and send me whatever evidence or proof or whatever it is you have. And I will gladly compare with what I know and what I have of my own. Like, go for it.
I'm
Please
glad-
show me what you have because I have an extraordinary amount of evidence. It's ridiculous. I have over 3,000 audios. Um, that is astronomical. I have all the videos. I have
many
text messages,
eyewitnesses.
photos. So many people have called me to give me their own evidence
and too
and
many
testimonies.
too many people found me from my childhood. Too many. So we have too many people that knew me at 4 and 5 and 6 and 9.
Right. 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 Interesting. So when was this Zoom call? Was it recently?
No, that was
No.
in 2022. So that would have been in like May or June of 2022.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
it was
So,
crazy.
so what is your goal in getting this story out? Like, I mean, you kind of got forced into doing it, got tricked into doing it. Now that you're here and you've got your company, what is your goal? What's your
Been
vision?
the same from day one to
Okay.
stand for every survivor and every child till there isn't any more, till this isn't a problem, till everybody's aware of it and it stops. To provide a safe anything, a shoulder, somebody to listen to.
To stop the attacks like we've been getting lately for all
Right.
the rest of them that want to come forward and speak and tell their story. so
Right.
that they feel safe enough to do so that they can speak. We've said we're the voice for the voiceless
I want,
because we'll stand at the front lines and speak when
Right.
they're too scared to.
yeah, I want us all to be able to live. We had to survive. Like, that's garbage. Can we live now?
Our entire goal and what we have been trying to build is an entire like healing center and
Right.
retreat for them to come to for a weekend or a week
Right.
or anything.
Right.
And we just haven't gotten that far. We're still living in campers with the walls falling off. So, it's a work in progress. But
Yeah.
our goal is the healing.
So these other survivors, do you happen to know any of them? Have you
None
run
of the
into
ones
someone
people
you
are seeing
recognize?
on TV, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I was
Say
gonna
that.
say, what survivors are you referring to?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
know
I
lots
mean,
of them.
that's what you see is those on TV or whatever. You don't see like there's no like list or whatever. But so
I don't,
you don't know anyone is what I'm getting at. You don't know anyone specifically.
from on the TV, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
no.
there are so many more than are, we'll call them out there,
Yep.
that will be needing help, help with their
Yes.
trauma, help with understanding what happened to them, help with healing.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm in contact with several other survivors of these islands. None of them were on that TV.
Okay.
You gotta remember there were more people on that island too, other than just Epstein.
God, yes.
Well, that's what I'm kind of dancing around it. Can you tell me about these other survivors? Like, how do you know to stay in touch with them? Like, how are you
They
in
found
contact with
me.
them? Hmm?
They found me. They always have through the years,
Okay.
through
Okay.
all these years.
All
We have
right.
found each other from time to time through all these years.
Okay. All right.
We always have. There's not very many of us that are linked together anymore, but, and we lost several. They died, they took their own lives, or things happened to them.
Right.
But we always found each other throughout the years just for safety and
Right.
to hold on to each other.
So, for those of us watching this video now, how can we support you?
It's not about us.
Mhm. You can support Beyond Duality. You can support the nonprofit so that we can continue to support other survivors.
Okay.
We do have music. Um, it's eclectic. It's all over the place. Some of it you're so not going to want to play in front of your children or at church
No.
because it is
Yeah.
explicit. We are talking about survivor stories. Some of it is really deep and
Yes.
heavy. Some of it's descriptive.
Okay.
Some of it's a little too smutty.
Okay.
Some of it's super religious. You should play it in church.
It's
It's
a
a
range.
really range of a spectrum. So
We give a voice to everybody we've worked with and everybody that wants a voice that has none. And so we don't censor their voices. If that's how they want it, that's how they want it.
Okay.
And that's just what we do. It's not about us. It's about the children out there still waiting. They're all still needing help. It's never been about us.
Right.
We stand here till everybody else is strong enough to stand up, then we'll all just stand here
I'm
together.
getting chills. I'm getting chills.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and we don't
support survivors. That's how.
That's what we like to keep the focus on is all the survivors, not just our personal stories so
Yeah.
much because it's about everyone and everyone's healing, not just our
Right.
own.
And
Okay.
I hate it. I hate it ever that I hate that that is my story. Okay, I never wanted that. I don't like any of it. And I hate it because I survived. I'm still here. They're still out there. I wanted about their story, but they've got to be out first.
Right.
The sensationalism is everything they wanted me to be. That's all they ever wanted.
Right.
They still use it to exploit the shit out of me online right now. They've created 4 and 5 accounts, these people that created accounts just to put my face all over it. That's all I've had my entire life. Snuff, porn. Good Lord, get my face off your life already. Just, it's not
So,
been about us. It's about we stand here. If they're looking at me, they're not doing this to somebody else.
Okay, yeah. So do you have a website for Beyond Duality?
Yes,
Yep.
www.beyonddualityinc.com.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put that in the description so people can go look around. Is there a way to help you financially or in any other way? Is there a
Yep, there's a
donation?
donation button on our
Yeah.
website. We also have Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal.
Okay. Yeah,
I
because
believe
it,
that's all on our donation page as well.
yeah, yeah.
Let's check.
So would you be willing to talk again and tell more of
Yep.
your story?
Yep. We've
I'm willing to talk
always open.
as often as you're able to or you want to. I think, this needs to come out to people. And for those watching, if you'll share this far and wide, okay, we need to build awareness of the story. They're not the only ones out there that this has happened to, right? And of course,
No,
a lot of, we're going to say them higher level people that are in this, um, well, into trafficking. We'll just say it that way.
they're in this
Um,
matrix we're still walking around in.
yeah, yeah. And we want to help all of them. Everyone needs support, right?
Yes. We've been screaming it for days. If you're
Right,
still breathing, you're standing on an island and we're surviving it together.
right, right. When we
All
had
of us
talked to,
survivors are only standing here to help everybody else who isn't aware they've been on one stand up and survive it too.
right. Well, again, this is the time. This information needs to go out to the public now. We can't wait 5 or 10 years. We want to get it out, strike while the iron is hot, right? While
Yes.
people are still watching the story and understanding that this is just a little small fraction of the bigger picture here on Earth. Like this is one little tiny person and his network of people. It's much bigger than that. Much
Oh, yeah.
bigger. Yeah.
Way bigger than me, way bigger than
Yeah.
any of us.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
We need to get it out. So those that are watching, if you'll help support them in any way you can, share the videos, that would be appreciated. Talk about the story and surround them with love, light, peace, comfort, and healing.
Can I just thank you for being understanding and
Oh, well,
kind? This stuff has always been the hardest to talk about. And it always comes out choppy for me.
right.
And I get so much grief for it, for being all over the place. And
No, no.
I just appreciate that it wasn't that way this time.
No. Well, I don't know your story, so I'm just asking random questions. But it is, again, a delicate story. We're not going anywhere you don't want to go, right?
What I appreciate is you don't go off into left field and spring on some topic that is so far away from what we were discussing, if that makes
Mm.
sense. Like
Yeah,
so many
yeah,
people have done that and it
yeah.
causes
No.
some issues sometimes. So I
We want to
appreciate
make sure that you're supported in every way, okay? And physically, spiritually, emotionally, and that you feel comfortable because we need you, right? I didn't have your experiences. We need to get them out to the public. We want the public to know that this is real. And people kind of don't understand, they hear the stories, but they don't actually see the videos or, they don't go a little bit deeper. This is very
Yeah.
deep, very ugly stuff. And you've lived through it.
And these are children.
Yeah.
These are people.
Yeah.
These are living, breathing people. And they're people. They're not files and they're not
Right.
they're people. These are children. These are people.
I can't even imagine living in a box as a child. Like most kids need to run around. They've got a lot of energy. They're very, they learn by new input, right? How horrible that must have been for you. And of course, you didn't know any better. You knew you weren't happy and you didn't like it, but you didn't know what you could have had.
I didn't miss anything. And I miss that box sometimes. I don't look at it as horrible. I still look at it as horrible that I found out all those lies. it messes with my head bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in that box, nothing hurt me. It was just me and him in that box.
Yeah. Yeah. It had to be like kind of a comfort thing that at least you were like solitary and safe for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm so sorry you went through that.
I'm sorry anybody still is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's our goal. I think the people watching this right now, our goal is to have this end forever, not just until the news story goes away.
Yeah.
Forever. This can never happen again, ever.
No,
It has
it
to
takes
be
the remembrance
eradicated.
of it to make it stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we're at a good resting place for today. And again, we'll talk as often as you're willing, or, we have time and all of that. And we'll continue to get more details out. I guess if you're watching this and you have questions, please, message me, let me know, and I'll collect them for the next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both for being on here. And I'd love to hear your story too, Brittany. And I know you're kind of weaving it in, but
We'll get there. I have not publicly spoken much anyways about
yeah,
my own story, so
yeah.
You're
we'll
doing
get there.
good. You're doing
Yeah.
good.
You're pretty knowledgeable though. You know a lot. So
Yeah,
yay.
she does.
So, all right. Thank you
We'll talk
both so
soon.
much for your time. I appreciate you being willing to talk with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. What?